Parenting leadership. I believe all of you are successful parents with many children, Alhamdulillah. So the purpose of this program is to introduce a concept to you. At the same time, it is kind of review for us, to me and yourself, because parenting is a responsibility. You know that. So knowing, having some idea about this definitely help us this world and akhirah, inshallah. So we are talking about parenting leadership. So we know about leadership. So we are focusing on parenting as a leadership role. Right? The objective of this session is to help you enhance your parenting leadership experience to the next level. So today in this program, I would like to cover some questions, right? What is parenting leadership? How to understand your child? What is your parenting type? What are productive parenting goals? How to become a productive parent? These are some of the questions I would like to cover in this program. This program is driven by this Quran verse. ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما. Oh Lord, grant us comfort from among our spouses and offspring to our eyes and make us leaders for the righteous people, muttaqin. This dua is very powerful dua. Already you know aware about this. So we want to witness this dua in our life. We want to practice this dua in our life. That is the focus of this program, inshallah. Right? Now we know that whenever we talk about parenting around the world, there is a idea or concern about parenting. We call parenting as a problem, right? It's a big problem for many parents. So the question is it a problem or is it a challenge? Is parenting a problem or challenge? If you consider parenting as a problem, it is a negative mindset. Okay? If you consider parenting as a challenge, it is a positive mindset. For example, if you say my child is difficult to handle, it is negative. It expresses your frustration. But if you say how can I guide my child's energy and emotions effectively? If you ask the same, when you address the same thing in a positive manner, then it is proactive and solution driven, right? So we are focusing on the positive side of the obstacle in your life. So we know that even though I explained, we know it is a problem, isn't it? It is a problem for many parents. For example, if you have one child, problem is different compared to two children. 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 mean what? It is a huge problem. Okay. So what I want is we want to change our mindset from problem to challenge. Right? How do we change this mindset? Because if you think it is a problem, it is a problem. It will become problem for your whole life. But if you consider it as a challenge, then you will develop eventually a positive mindset. So the best idea, a best method to transform from problem to challenge is consider parenting as a leadership role, right? Consider parenting as a leadership role with great goals in your mind, right? So whenever you think um, some goals in front of you and you want to achieve that, then obstacles become what? Challenge. For example, you have something in the second floor, very important thing, you need to get it, then climbing the staircase will become what? It's not a problem for you, right? You will see it as a part of your journey must be done to get the thing from. So in this case, considering parenting as a leadership role, it will eventually transform your problematic mindset to a challenging mindset. So that is the idea. What is the meaning of parenting leadership? We know that the definition of leadership, isn't it? What is that? Leadership is the ability to move people towards a goal. That is leadership. So, what is parenting leadership? Ability to grow children towards productive parenting goals. Very simple. You have children with you, number of children. Now you need to grow them towards parenting goals. Then you are a parenting leader. You are a leader. That is the idea. So if we can, MSSN is a big organization. You are working with many people around your country. So if we can give this idea to all the parents in their mind, especially young parents, for example, okay? So eventually their life will become more empowered. Okay. Now let's talk about why is parenting a challenge? You know that parenting is not a easy thing. Always leadership is difficult, isn't it? It is challenging. So why is parenting a challenge? Now, I'm an Asian. I'm coming from Sri Lanka, but living in Middle East and Turkey. I have some experience about parents and family life. In your case, you are coming from Africa, so your culture, your experience are different from ours. Definitely, there will be some differences. But I hope this idea may help you to improve certain things in your parenting experience, inshallah. Okay, why is parenting a challenge? So I'd like to have a discussion with you, but unfortunately, because of the time constraint, just I will cover some ideas. Okay, right. One point: lack of priority. Many parents they don't prioritize parenting as their one of the key responsibility. They have children, so they feed them, they clothe them, they send to school, so it is there, but they don't consider it as one of the top priority in their life. So it is so that it become a challenge for them. Personality differences. If you have one child, so you know about that child. If you have two different personality, right? Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine mean what? Different personalities. So you may have a conflict in terms of communicating with them, understanding their thinking pattern, how they communicate. There will be a that mean chaos sometime, right? So it become a challenge. The lack of cooperation between husband and wife, father and mother, if they are not cooperating in terms of if they don't have a common goal towards their children, then it will become a challenge. Living environment, it depends on where you are living, right? Is it surrounded by like-minded families, or are you living in an urban place? Are you living in an apartment flat or a village? Depending on the environment, there are challenges, right? Then influences of others. Sometimes some parents they have children, but the children are influenced by their relatives, their neighbors, right? Their peers, friends. So it is another challenge. Social media, smartphone, it is a universal problem, a challenge in terms of parenting. The lack of leadership skills. We get married, so we have there are husband and wife. Then if they don't have the skills to lead their children, right, then it is a challenge. Sometimes the husband might be a managing director of a company, but if he doesn't have the skills to lead his child or his children, it's a challenge. Same way, if a mother might be a teacher or principal in a school, if she doesn't have the essential skills to lead the children, it become a challenge. Lack of resources, lack of information, ideas, guidance, facilities, So there may be lots of reasons why the parenting process might become challenge. Okay, a challenge is part of life, but the thing is, if you have a greater goal, great goals in your mind, challenges will become smaller and you will enjoy to face them. So that is the nature of our life, human life. Okay, even Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a huge number of challenges throughout his mission, but his goal was very powerful, his mission or very powerful, so he was motivated by his vision and mission to overcome all those challenges successfully. Okay, let's discuss some realities in terms of parenting and family life. Most parents have become parents without knowing what parenting is, right? What do you think about this? I think it is applicable for anywhere in the world, isn't it? When people get married, they don't think about parenting. No, they think about something else. So they become parent without knowing what parenting is exactly. What they do, they experiment with their children. Unfortunately, parents are playing with the precious future lives of their beloved children. Since they don't know what is parenting, the objective, the idea, methodologies, okay? So what they do, they just experiment with their first child. So they don't know what to do with that child. So that child will become a what? Some in a laboratory you do experiment with certain things, isn't it? Same like your child will become a experimenting things, unfortunately. Then parenting is the primary responsibility of those who are blessed with children. So it is another reality. So if you have given a child from Almighty Allah, then it is your responsibility to raise that child. If you are given 3 children or 5 children or 15, it is your responsibility. It is not the responsibility of teachers or somebody else, right? So Almighty has chosen you as the parents of your children. It is a blessing. Why? As you are the best person to lead your children. Now, in your case, if you have some children, that means you are blessed, the parents of that child. That means you are the best one to lead them. No one can lead your children better than you. These are the reality we should accept. So no one can care for your children better than you. But the warning is, if you fail to lead them, they will be led by someone else. If you forget your responsibility as a leader to your children, somebody else will lead them. Somebody else might misguide them. That is the risk or danger in terms of poor parenting. Now, because of that only, we are seeing in our community sometimes we have some people, they are misguided people. Why? Their root was not good. That means their parents might have that mean missed the way they led. Maybe their parents were good people, but they were not leading them properly. So the children became notorious. The parents of successful personalities have done a great job to make human life better. We are witnessing number of people, individuals, personalities in our country, in the world. That means their parents had done some great role to make them better human, right? So indeed, they will be awarded with great rewards by Almighty Allah. Why? Because of their parents, these people became great people and they serve the humanity. Even you're in front of me, we have some good people, alhamdulillah. So you're doing dawah, training others. So your parents will be rewarded, definitely. Because why? Because of them, you are here, I'm here now. Alhamdulillah. Now, it is your time. So we have to tell the parents, this is your time to think about the greatness of parenting, right? Parenting is not something small. It is one of the greatest responsibility and blessing. And to learn
Barantas,
the best
hormones,
practices that work for
Kaliman,
parents of success.
hormones.
ليش كمان أنا؟
So, so first we need to understand the
دولي أكثر
greatness.
ليلة
Second,
دولي
to learn the best practices that worked for the parents of successful personalities. So how those parents did that we raised their children better. We need to know them. It is not a one hour class or one course. It is a continuous process to learn from successful parents how they did this huge responsibility. Why? To plan to become productive parents in our lifetime. So the objective basically of this program is to help parents to become more productive so that they'll become parenting leaders and help their children to become productive human. Eventually, community, society, nation will transform the way we want. Right? That is the idea. Okay. Okay, simple question. How did you become a parent? Okay, very simple or silly question, but we need to get the right answer to understand certain truth behind this question. How did you become a parent? Because Almighty Allah, He decided, He chose you as a parent of a child or children. So it is His selection. Almighty Allah selected you as a parent. Number one, right? How did you become a parent? The second reason is because of your spouse. You have a wife, you have a husband. Because of that, you became a parent, right? Then third one is because of your children. Since you are having a children, so you became a parent. So these are the three reasons we find the main reasons somebody become parent, right? So as I said, parenting is a great responsibility. Then these three entities, Almighty Allah, our wife or husband, and our children, made us a parent. Therefore, we should be thankful to them, isn't it? We should be thankful to them. Are we doing that? Are we thankful to Allah because of our children? Are we thankful to our wife or husband because of our children? Are we thankful to our children because we became parent because of them? How much we thankful? How do we do that? Right? It's a great question. We need to we can assess by having a question mark. Just I want you to assess yourself while you are listening. How much you are grateful to our Almighty Allah and our spouse and our children. Right? Now the question is how to respond to the blessing of being a parent. We know that parenting is a blessing. Okay. How to respond to the blessing as a parent. Okay, you must have an idea. I also will show some idea. You can check with them. Okay. Now, step number one, understand and accept it as a blessing. Okay, step number one, understand and accept parenting as a blessing. That is number one. Plan how to raise your children productively. It is another way to respond to the blessing as a parent. Plan how to raise your children productively, not to let them grow. You should raise them to make them productive people. Next one, regularly make dua for your children and spouse. Why? Because of them only you became parent, because of your husband and wife, right? So this is the third point, how we can respond to the blessing of, being a parent. And the fourth one, seek Allah's help to fulfill the responsibility. Because He is the one assigned you as a parent. So without His help, you cannot fulfill this responsibility successfully. So if you are a person who understands parenting as a blessing, the question is, are you doing this? Okay, are you doing this? Do you have a plan to raise your children? Do you make dua regularly for your children and spouse? And do you seek Allah's help to fulfill this responsibility? Rather than complaining, so parents must be, they must be aware of these things, how to respond to the blessing of being a parent. So I have given, some kind of introduction about this idea. So how much we feel these things as real in our life, that much will become more conscious in terms of parenting. So if you are become an effective parent, your children will become happy. They will be grateful to you, right? They will witness that in front of Allah. Because of my parents, I became better. That is the best part of this whole story, right? Now let's move to the another important subject of this presentation. Understand your child. How many of you have done that assessment? Because that assessment will give you an insight about not about your child, about yourself as a parent, right? So if you do that assessment, it is available in our website. I can share with you the link at the end of the program. You can do that assessment. So end of the assessment, you will have a result like this, a spider web. So you'll have 5 criteria: values, attitudes, lifestyle, maturity, personality. That means now if somebody asks you, how is your child? How is your child? Then you need to see them you need to see your child in 5 different perspectives: value perspective, attitudes perspective, lifestyle, maturity, and personality. In the assessment, there are 20 questions. So once you finish the assessment, you will have a graph like this. It will show in terms of value perspective, how is your child? And each perspective, your child's status will be shown in the diagram. The most important thing is how to interpret this diagram. Okay. Say your child's value, for example, 65. What is the meaning? 35 gap. There's a gap of 35. If your child attitude is 75, mean there's a 25 gap. The lifestyle is 65, mean again there is a 35. Maturity in terms of maturity perspective, 40, mean there is a 60 gap and 40 gap. So what is the meaning of this? Now, if you find this result, you cannot blame your child. It is not your children's fault for this result. Okay, it is about the one who led them. We know that if a company go lost, who will be blamed? The leader, CEO of the company, isn't it? The leader is responsible for the followers' mistake. So if you see your children's status are, in some perspective it is weaker, the responsibility is with parents. So for this purpose, I will briefly explain this diagram, what kind of responsibility we will have as parent. The first one, we'll talk about values. What is that? The principles and beliefs the child has received from you. Now, we know that the values are the core of an individual, right? If the values are good, that person will become good person. If the person doesn't have certain values, then that person will become bad person. For example, justice is a value, honesty is a value, right? Kindness is a value. So if a child doesn't have honesty or kindness or justice, mean your child, there's a risk of becoming a bad person in future. Okay. So why your child has weak in that part? It is because of you. The child did not receive the correct or relevant guidance to, to have these values with them. So who is responsible? Parent responsible. It is a parenting issue, not the child. You cannot hit the child. Your child received the input from you to have certain values and not to have certain values. Then attitudes. Your child's perception of people and situations is based on your influence on them. How your child perceive others, your neighbors, your relatives, okay, your friends, or situations or activity. If your child is optimism or pessimism or resilience or openness or closeness, these attitudes coming from where? Because of you. Because the child was with you for a long time and they learn directly from you by observing you, the way you are handling things at home. How do you communicate with your spouse, wife, and husband? How do you solve the problems? How do you fight between you? How do you shout each other? How you are happy. All of these things give a good lesson for your children. So they learn from you the values and attitudes. Okay. So if you find that attitude part is less in terms of your child, so there is a gap in terms of what? Parenting. Okay. The lifestyle, your child's habits and choices. Example, discipline, eating habits, health consciousness, time management, social engagement. These are kind of behaviors, right? So they learn from you. So how do you manage your time? They learn from you. How do you eat? The culture they get from you. If you are a person always eating, your child will get a signal that, okay, my father, my mother is always eating. So this is a good lifestyle. They follow. If you are a person, eat only 2 times a day, right? That means you are conscious about your health. Children will follow them. So it is about what they learn from you, right? So these three basically values, attitudes, lifestyle, we can improve if you are conscious about them. You can help your children to improve the lifestyle, improve the attitudes, improve the values. But to be honest, improving value is harder compared to attitudes and lifestyle, right? Most easiest one is improving the lifestyle and behaviors, right? But changing attitudes is little harder, and changing the values is very hard. For that purpose, you need to do a continuous long-term effort, organized manner, so that you can inculcate the values within them. That is the idea, right? So these three we can change. It is our responsibility to improve, right? Now let's focus on maturity. What is that? Okay, sometime when you do this assessment, your child might get low score in terms of maturity, for example, 40. It is okay. Why? Because maturity largely depends on conscious life experiences. Once a person exposed to many things, scenarios in her life, his life, they'll become mature faster, right? So, as a parent, we cannot push them to become mature, but what we can do is we can guide them, we can create the exposure to help them to develop maturity faster. You can bring them to the certain places to expose, certain things. So it has to be done in a proper manner, without overloading them, without making them put them in a difficult situation. But we have to help them to improve their maturity, um, consciously, right? So in this case, maturity is coming from their experience, but as a parent, we can help them to expedite, right? Then personality type, what is that? Now, sometimes we misunderstand our children because of their personality type. For example, you as a parent, say you are an extrovert, but your child might be introvert, then you will have a clash with them, right? So another child may be extrovert and introvert together, then the child will behave differently. So in this case, okay, you cannot change their natural personality type or traits. It is not possible because it is natural, right? Umar radiallahu anhu was a assertive person, while Usman radiallahu anhu was a soft-hearted person. Prophet ﷺ never tried to change this. What he did, he tried to benefit from their natural potential. So that's what we had to do as a productive parent. So this is innate and unique to each child. So you need to understand, acknowledge, and help your child maximize their strengths rather than trying to change them. So you understand that now changing lifestyle is easy of your children, and changing attitude is little harder. Changing values is harder, right? In terms of maturity, you cannot push them, but you can help them to expedite by giving them more exposure. Personality, we should not try to change. Only thing is we need to understand the personality types of your children and acknowledge them. Okay, this son is like this daughter is like this. Acknowledge them. Let them know that my father, my mother loves me because of this nature. Then try to maximize this strength in that area and try to become a powerful person. This is the idea. Okay. What is productive parenting? We know that what is parenting, growing, raising your children. So since I am adding a word productive here, I define like this. The conscious process of raising children with love and respect to nurture their growth, making them beneficial to themselves and humanity. What is the output? Once they grow up, once they grow up, they must be having a happy life and they must be beneficial to the people around them. Maybe in your village, in your city, in your region, in your state, in your nation, maybe globally, depending on the opportunity, right? So beneficial to themselves and others. How you will do this? Conscious process with love and respect to nurture their growth. So this is a simple definition. But based on this definition, we will have some goals. We call productive parenting goals. So if you focus those goals, inshallah, you will see the difference in your family life. Our parents will become more successful. I will quickly go through them. We have three goals. These are broader goals. So when you start to work on them, that means your child to child, your approach might be different, but these are broader goals, you can say. Number one, to help children achieve a healthy life. Okay, to help children achieve a healthy life. So what do you mean by healthy? It is not about, it is not only about in physical health point of view. It is about all uh, five health perspectives. So I call it spiritually healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy, socially healthy, and academically healthy, right? So you, as a parent, as a productive parent, we should focus in a balanced way. So we need to help your children to spiritually, physically, emotionally, socially, and academically healthy. You cannot make all this area 100 score, right? It should be different naturally, but we should not leave any of them zero. So we must be conscious about growing our children in terms of these all five areas when you talk about nurturing them, right? The second goal is while you are focusing, improve their spiritually, physically, emotionally, socially, and academically, you also want to protect them from hazards that may affect their healthy life. For example, so while you're focusing on spiritual development of your children, you must be very careful about the environment you are living. That environment might disturb their spiritual journey. For example, if you have a television at home, it is open, 24 hours. Then how you can make your child spiritual? How you can make child economically healthy, right? So it is not easy. So we need to identify the hazards, that means the potential risk that might disturb the healthy life of your children and remove them and minimize them. Right. For example, using mobile phone. It is now common everywhere, isn't it? But you need to observe and optimize the usage of mobile phone, especially by children. Right. Third goal is most important one. These two goals basically possible by any parents. All the parents are concerned on these two goals. But third one is very important. Why? If you don't do this third goal, your parenting will not become productive. What is that? To facilitate children in discovering their potential, setting meaningful ambitions, and growing productively. So we need to help our children understand the potential they brought from their birth, the potential Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept within them while they come to this world. We need to help them, discover them, and help them set an ambition for their life, meaningful ambition, not just some wishes, some like fancy statements. I want to become like this, like that. No, we have to help them to set meaningful ambition for their life so that they will grow productive people to this world. So I believe these are the three major goals a productive parent should focus. Okay. So that's why I said at the beginning, parenting leadership is what? Ability to grow children towards productive parenting goals. So if you understand these goals and if you develop the skills to lead your children towards those goals, you are a productive parent. Okay. Right now, I'm reaching to the last few slides now, inshallah. I'll just briefly explain a certain idea about how to become a productive parent. Okay. Uh, in fact, it is not rocket science. It is natural process. That's why our parents of past, didn't have all of this technology and books and these things to read or the programs or workshop. Naturally, they raise their children productively, right? So we need to understand them. That is my way of explaining. That is, I don't want to make things complicated. I want to make the things easy for our brothers and sisters, inshallah. So for this purpose, we need to see our children like this in a natural way, right? We believe that while a child comes to this world, we believe that they know Allah, right? The child knows Allah. We believe that. And also we believe that they have the freedom of choice. Okay? They can choose freely. It is one of the great power human has been given compared to any other creature in the world. It is an amana, right? The third things the child bring from the birth is intelligence. Okay. Fourth one, desires. All of us, we have desires within ourselves, right? Then fifth one is potential. So we have five things with us while we come to this world. All our children they bring, if they are mentally healthy, a child, alhamdulillah. So all of them they have this with them. So once the doctor hands over the child to your hand, okay, now you have the child. So they have all these five with them. Now your responsibility is what? You have five responsibility. Since your child has the knowledge of Allah inculcated within it, right? So what we have to do is introduce Allah to our children in an appealing manner and help them live with taqwa. So we have to introduce Allah in an appealing manner, in an attractive manner, not as a person of having Jahannam. We need to introduce as Rahman and Rahim, okay, so that our children will have taqwa, God consciousness. That is the number one as a parent. If you fail to give taqwa, giving everything will become useless. Taqwa is very important. If you give only taqwa, then your child, wherever he or she goes, he or she will be perfect in terms of everything and characters and okay. So giving taqwa is the number one responsibility as a parent. So we need to know how to do this. Okay. Then in terms of freedom of choice, my child has a freedom of choice. They can decide freely. And that is the power Allah has given. So as a parent, what is our responsibility? We have to guide them, right? We have to guide them. We have to respect our children's choices, freedom of choice. A child has the freedom of choice Allah has given. So we have to respect that and acknowledge them and guiding them in making better decisions. Okay. So freedom of choice will affect where when they make decisions in their life. Okay. So whenever they are going to make a decision, could be small or big, the parent, it is our responsibility to guide them to make the right choice. It is part of our responsibility. So how to do that? Yeah, we need to learn how to do that effectively, right? Then intelligence. Our children, they are intelligent. What we have to do as a parent, we have to educate our children with the essential knowledge to fully benefit their intelligence. That now we are sending them to schools to get information about all the sciences, right? So they are bombarded with knowledge and they have an exam. So once they pass, they will go to the next class. So education goes like this up to the grade 12. Once finished, go to the university, then they will go to the job. Once they go to job, then they will never use what they learn in the school, right? That is the unfortunate situation in our system around the world. But here, in addition to that, we need to educate them. In addition to what they learn at the school, we have to educate them about the life, of nature of life, way of living, our culture, okay, the manners, everything. That is the responsibility of parent. Then what else? We have desires. Desires are very powerful thing Allah has kept within ourselves. So most of the time, when people talk about, whenever they deliver Islamic lectures, they see this desire as a bad thing. Okay, but Allah has kept this. Why? It is a test. Shaitan always induce desires to do mistake, to do wrong. But a mu'min always use this desire to do things better. Because desires is very important to get motivated to do anything, isn't it? So as a parent, we need to regulate the desires of our children to focus on good things, to motivate them in good things in this world and akhirah. Sometimes whatever you desire will not be achieved in this life. But if you are sincere and you are with Allah, with taqwa, you will be rewarded in akhirah. So that desire will motivate us. Now, mashallah, the brothers and sisters now in this program, you all are doing great things in your community. Why? Because of the desire of Allah's blessing and you want to achieve best in akhirah. Isn't it? So as a parent, it is our responsibility to do this. The fifth and the most important one, potential of our children. So in this case, we have to help them to discover their potential and make sure that they will be a great contributor in the community according to the potential they are given. Okay? So, so by doing these things, inshallah, I believe you can or we can be a productive parent and we can grow our children productively, inshallah. Right? So you can have an assessment like this. For example, you can have teacher and do a simple assessment later. So you have children. Just ask this question. We are introducing Allah to our children in an appealing manner and help them live with taqwa every day. So are we doing this? You can ask this question to yourself, like a self-assessment. Then the next question is, we are educating our children with essential knowledge to fully benefit their intelligence. We are educating our children with essential knowledge to fully benefit from their intelligence. Are we doing this? So are we just sending them to school and forget about them, or we focus on their education, not only in the exams, but also what they learn for their making their life better. So how much we are into that? Third one, we are recognize the power of desire and guide our children to use it wisely for success in this world and the hereafter. So how we are doing this? We are helping our children discover their natural potential and using it to become the best contributors. Are we doing this? Okay. For example, say if you have only one child, you can make them a better contributor, right? In one field. If you have three children, you can produce three contributors in three different fields. If you have 10, mashallah, it's a great blessing, right? You can, produce them in 10 different fields so that you'll become like Ibrahim alayhi salam, like Ummah. Okay? So each one of them will be contributing in different fields to humanity, in their profession or in their career. right? But the most important is we need to discover their natural potential rather than just pushing them into one field and let them, pass the exam and go to the job. No, not like that. We are respecting our children's freedom of choice and guiding them in making better decisions. Are we doing this? So these are five statements to make sure that how much we are into this productive parenting. You can ask the question, answer yourself. You can sit together, husband and wife, right? And ask yourself how much we are doing this. List out all your children's name. One by one ask. Okay, elder one, what we did, like a muhasaba. So once you do this muhasaba, you will definitely find some mistakes. Definitely. You will find some gaps. Then ask Allah, "Ya Allah, please help me fulfill this responsibility greatly to overcome this challenge. Definitely Allah Ta'ala will always with us. Only we need to be with Him. Okay? Jazakumullah khairan. So I hope you all enjoy this program.